Welcome back to Insight. We are talking nutrition and malnutrition with Aging and In-Home Services of Northeast Indiana. Janelle has joined us. Now, Janelle, you are the registered dietitian at Aging and In-Home Services. Tell me what you do there.
A lot of what I do is nutrition education. I teach diabetes classes, we have workshops, I do little wellness talks, but a big part of what I do is provide medical nutrition therapy, which is kind of the fancy word for nutrition counseling. And this involves, it's a one-on-one,
Okay.
It's very person-centered service, and I can go right to your home to provide the service. That's one of the great things I think about
Absolutely.
Aging in-home is that we go to you.
Yes.
And we make that easier for people that have transportation issues or if they have mobility issues, especially if they've just come home from the hospital, maybe they're not getting around as well. So we can come right to you to provide this service. And part of what I do, a lot of it is getting an understanding of that person's eating habits. What foods do they like to eat? What don't they eat? I look at, are they eating lots of red meats and saturated fats? Are they eating enough fruits and vegetables? And spoiler alert,
We're not?
nobody's eating enough fruits and vegetables. I mean, that's just,
I would have never
come
guessed
across
that.
all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of, a lot of it is just getting an idea of where they're at, what they typically eat, what they like, what they don't like, and then related to whatever health issue they're having, I try to come up with some ideas of tips of small things they can change to improve that diet, and it's got to be something they're willing to work on
Sure.
so that they can stick with it and maintain that over the long course, of the time. So it's working with them to come up with better changes to eat better.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said small changes, because I think it can be overwhelming for people. If they find out
Absolutely.
they had, I don't know, a heart condition, a heart attack, they get out of the hospital and they were just told they have to completely change how they're doing things. That is super overwhelming, especially for I make fun of myself, but for somebody like me who I don't have skills in the kitchen, like I own that. And so if you told me that I had to start doing, whatever, a plant-based diet, I know in my head that that's better for me, but that is super overwhelming.
But can you do it?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the focus is trying to find those small changes. We talk about like reading nutrition labels, we talk about portion sizes, and I try to help them pick out what's going to work for them. Okay, I need to cut back on my red meat, but I can look at my portion sizes. I can have a smaller piece of whatever, chicken or beef if they like steak.
Yeah.
I can cut back on portion sizes but still fit it into my diet so that I'll stick with it. Or if they're needing to look at their sodium intake, I see a lot of heart patients,
Sure.
so a lot of focus is on cutting out sodium and looking at those healthy fats and trying to cut the saturated fats. So we talk about what foods are high in sodium, some swaps you can make, how you can flavor your food without salt, and again, those small changes that they're able to take care of, that they can do and are willing to do, and that way they're more likely to stick with it. Yeah.
I will tell you this, lemon pepper seasoning has been a real good thing for me, because there is a dietitian here in town. I'm not going to embarrass her. She got me a shirt that said, "I salt my salt." It had two little shakers on there, and that is the honest truth. Like, I have issues, but lemon pepper seasoning, go get some. It'll make all the difference. So how do we know, somebody's watching, they're like, I don't know if I need nutrition counseling or not. How do you know if you need it?
Well, typically a doctor is going to refer you to a dietitian, and that often happens after somebody's been hospitalized, if they have a new diagnosis, like a heart issue.
Sure.
Maybe they had a blockage, or they had a stent put in, or they've had a heart attack. A lot of times that will trigger that referral to see a dietitian. Or it could be a diagnosis they've had for a while, but they've been kind of ignoring it. A lot of people that have diabetes, they may be struggling to keep those blood sugars under control, and maybe they've had some health issue related to that diabetes that's kind of put them in the hospital, and now they're thinking, okay, I've got to take this seriously, I need to make changes. And so a doctor will refer them to me, and that's when we start, again, having that consult,
Diving in.
working on what they can change and how they can make changes and get on the road to better health.
So how do I get signed up So doctor has given me a referral, says you need a dietitian, nutrition counseling. How do I get signed up for it with y'all?
Well, basically, it's that just call us.
I love that. We say it every time. Just call us.
Because we can talk to you and figure out your situation. I'm a provider for Medicare, and there's also several other insurances that I'm a provider for. And so we can work to see what's going to work with you as far as your insurance, and we also take private pay. People that are going to pay out of pocket for the service, but we'll try to connect you up to either get the dietary consult, or maybe we can connect you up with some classes that we might be offering that could help out. That's the big, usually it comes from the doctor first.
Yeah. Well, all you have to do is call him. If you need nutrition counseling, Janelle would love to help you out when she gets finished figuring out what to do with me. We are going to talk about what's trending in aging and in-home services coming up next. So stick with us.